Welcome to After the Flag, live here from the Ricardo Tormo circuit in Valencia. I'm Steve Day, joined by Simon Crafar, where today we have crowned a new MotoGP world champion. Joan Mir has done it, and he will have his hands on the MotoGP World Championship trophy next week in Portugal. What a day we have had here today, because of course Mir wasn't on the podium when we had so much to keep focus on. We have to talk about the race first before we talk about Mir as well. Well, actually, no, I'm going to get your thoughts on Mir. I mean, let's be honest, this is a remarkable day. We thought it was going to come, and he's finally done it. He looked really nervous on the grid, bless him. For the first time. For the first time all season long. But ultimately, Simon, he got the job done. He did everything he needed to do today.
He is, like Frankie, solid as a rock, isn't he? You know, the team have put, given him so much responsibility. He must have felt that so much, like we saw him on the grid. And but all year he's never folded, has he? You know, I mean, look back, and his crashes have been people taking him out, bike failure. He's super impressive.
The thing is, as well, he looked pretty much unflappable all the way through the year. This is the race start for Joan Mir. I think job one was just trying to get through lap one crispy clean. And I mean, there was a moment actually into turn two where Fabio Quartararo, it looked like, might get close to him as well. This is where Franco Morbidelli and Jack Miller got into P1 and P2. This is where Mir was at the start. It was these first few laps that were probably going to be the most problematic, would you say?
Guys, I stood on the grid with the Suzuki's talking to David Abrevio, and there's like 12 bikes in front of them. It was a long way, and what a nightmare to try and get through. And when you've got that hanging over you, if you make a mistake, you're going to lose, well, at least give someone else a chance to win the World Championship. And it must have played on his mind just to stay safe, where Rins ran for it a bit more and made it a bit further through. But look at him, he's such a young guy with such a wise old head on his shoulders.
That is absolutely spot on, yeah. Simon. The 23-year-old from Mallorca, in just his second Premier Class season, has won the World Championship for a manufacturer that haven't been successful since Kenny Roberts Jr. in the year 2000s. Just incredible scenes, but no one can say he doesn't deserve it.
No, nobody's going to say that. Nobody. If they do, they're talking through the wrong hole. No way. I don't think anyone that he's racing against would say that either. He's absolutely... Yeah, awesome.
There's going to be some parties tonight in Suzuki.
And such a nice kid with it.
Yes, he is.
Before he came down to the interview in Parc Fermé, I said, "Oh, did you see your mum? She's bawling her eyes out." And he goes, "She never watches. She's too scared, you know." And I said, "I never understood my mum doing that until I had kids." And he went, like losing your dog in the forest. Somebody he loves, he worries about. Really nice fella.
We'll have plenty of time to analyse Joan Mir's World Championship win, but we've got to talk about the top three in the race today as well. What an epic battle it was in the end. It had a steady start. Franco Morbidelli getting out front. He's got some great pace. But this man, Jack Miller, on screen, we're going to go to him and hear from him now. What a race from Jack Miller. He left it all out there. He just fell short, but brilliant to have him back on the podium. Jack Miller, let's cross over to Matt now. He's got him in the TV set.
What do you got to lose? Just get into it. Let's go for it.
How the front tyre?
It was good.
Front tyre hang in there.
Looking at the tyres in Parc Fermé.
Did you ever think about running the hard?
I ran it last week. And
right.
Honestly, last week I felt like I couldn't get temperature in the left-hand side.
I don't know, Matt, if you can hear us at the moment.
13,
but
he obviously can't.
We've crossed over. We've just crossed over a little too soon there. I think they're just getting the rehearsals ready. Let's cross over now to Matt and get the reactions from Jack Miller.
Apparently we are live. Congratulations. I can't hear anything in my ears, but huge congratulations, Jack. Your unbelievable fight for the victory today. You'll sleep well tonight knowing that you did absolutely everything that you possibly could to win that race. I just want to talk to you initially about the front tyre choice, because you went for the medium and it seemed to hang in there really good, because your pace throughout the race was super strong.
Yeah, I think I did my best lap, I think I had single digits left on the lap board, which is really unusual for me, but no, it felt really good. I had this sneaky feeling all weekend that the medium was the one. I ran the hard last week just because we didn't have really any info. But the feeling I had of the hard last week is I never could really get the temperature in the left-hand side, which here is always a problem getting in the right, but the right felt mega. But yeah, every time I went from like 12 to 13, I'd lose the front. and I felt unreal. And I'm normally not too bad on the front. Some places more than others, but I got the boys to sort of pick out a handful of corners where I forced the front the most, and just try and fix it. Like they can tell me where they were, and all right, try not to do too much there. Try not to force it too much there. And between that and just managing the rear tyre, that's all I tried to do for the first 20 laps, and then the rest was trying to chase down Frankie. He rode an amazing race. I had this mega plan in my head that I was going to sail past him on the front straight, one to go, and you know,
it nearly worked.
Bob your uncle, but that lasted right up until I started tipping into turn one with that tailwind. I just couldn't get the thing to stop. Went a little wide, and then we were side by side going into turn two. It was kind of who was going in first, and I was on the outside. But yeah, then a nice little battle ensued, and he got the better of me at turn 5, and then I was just searching. I ran over the curb on 7, trying to go up the inside there. Ran over the curb on 10, trying to go up the inside there, and he blocked. He had them all really covered, and then yeah, in 12 to 13, I had a big, like a bit of a shake. I was into it, and I just lost the rear a little bit here, and then as I went over, I shook. I lost the drive over the top of the hill, so I wasn't close enough on braking, so I tried to, last Hail Mary, let's say, I ran wide and tried to square it up and see if the Ducati had, you know, power by him before the finish line. But as soon as I cracked it on the last corner, she just went, what? It just drifted the whole way, and I said, nah, that's that then. But no, an awesome race. An awesome weekend from me. I enjoyed both weekends here. Last weekend was a shame in the race. We didn't get to do, I feel like, what was our full potential, but this weekend we definitely made up for it. But I love riding here in Valencia, so it was a lot of fun.
You've covered it so well, mate, in that first answer. I just want to pick up on a couple of things, though. When you got into the lead again on the last lap at turn 4, you must have thought, I've got this covered now.
I thought it was done, but then, yeah, once I sort of shut off and just trail braked into turn 5, I heard and I could almost, like, you're hanging off the side and you can almost hear it, and you have a little bit of a knowledge, let's say, of where they are. And I knew he was, hey, it's the last lap, MotoGP, 2 laps to go. I mean, 2 rounds to go, the second last round. So of course he's going to throw it in there, but I just managed to stand the bike up. I thought I'll have another dig at turn 8, braking for turn 8, but yeah, it just wasn't to be. But anyway, nah. Massive congratulations to him. Massive congratulations to the other one, Joan over there. I mean, he's done a fantastic job all season. He's been the cream of the crop, even when the chips were down. When he got taken out, for example, in Czech, he's kept his head screwed on, done the business, and you know, it's great to see. I like an underdog story, and that's an underdog story if I've ever seen one. So, massive congratulations to him. He's dealt with all the hype and everything like that, and really showed what class he is.
You like the journalist dream, mate. I only have to ask you a couple of questions. You get everything covered, all bases covered.
I try to get out of here quick, you see.
I knew there was some reason behind it. Mate, you rode absolutely awesome today. So many people thought you were going to take that second victory in MotoGP. You could not have tried any harder. Huge congratulations, Jack. Enjoy the celebrations tonight, buddy.
Thank you, mate. Cheers.
Back to you guys.
Well, there you can see with your own eyes what we're saying when we say we love Jack Miller.
Don't you love him?
I mean, the guy's just brilliant. He is a dream to talk to. He's a great guy and he's fast. And today, that was box office Jack. That's the Jack that we want to see week in, week out in MotoGP 2021.
Yep. You know, I thought he had it when he came past. You know, you knew the Duke was going to go past. He was close enough for it to, going into that last lap. And it was just into turn 1, a little bit wide. I think that, yes, Frankie might have had another go, but I think that's where he lost it, you know, running wide in there. And we spoke during the race how the wind was making that braking point difficult. So, yeah, once Jack went wide, you know, and then it was really difficult from there. Turn 5, brilliant by Frankie, because I know that turn really well. Frankie just threw it in early to pass him back, but Jack just didn't give up. But once Frankie was back in front after turn 5, this place is so hard to pass, you know.
And Morbidelli defended well into 11, didn't he?
Exactly, yeah. I thought they were going in 11. I said it in your ear, but Frankie had it covered, you know, had it blocked.
Franco Morbidelli made a good point to you in Parc Ferme after the race, the fact that it was such a great sporting scene on that last lap, but it was clean.
Yeah. That, I think, you could see the respect from Frankie about Jack, and about, from Jack about Frankie, which is really nice to see. No bad feelings. They trust each other out on the track. Really nice feeling.
This is the last lap,
Wide,
going into turn 1, just a bit wide in there. This is turn 4.
Oh, brave to go through there. Turn 4's proper scary, downhill off camber. Look, he turns in early, Frankie, and just blocks and, shuts the door, because the real line is where Jack is. But Frankie knew if he threw it in early, he'll block him, And
Great
really
race.
good. Great.
Fantastic race.
2 fantastic riders showing what they can do.
Real shame in a way that we couldn't have our 10th different winner with Jack on the top step, but I think his time's coming for Ducati, and we want to see more of that. Maybe he gets his chance again in Portimao. We have to then talk about this man, Franco Morbidelli. He led for so long, Simon, and at one stage when he started getting in those 31.4s, I thought it's going to be another Grand Prix of Teruel where he'll just disappear 10th by 10th by 10th, because he rarely makes any mistakes. So I was actually quite surprised, I think we all were, to see Jack creeping back on him. But then to come back and just throw everything into it and lunge into everything on that final lap, that was just classy from Franco.
He's an absolute machine, isn't he?
Yeah.
What he was doing, I was thinking, what he was doing being so consistent like that, makes it so hard for everyone else.
He's a brilliant rider, and he's moved up to second in the World Championship. And also it was another great ride for Pol Espargaro. That's now 5 podiums in 9 races, and crucially, back-to-back podiums here at Valencia. I'm sure a very happy Pol Espargaro. Standing by with Matt.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Steve. I do have a very happy Pol Espargaro standing right next to me. Pol, it's been a fantastic week for you here in Valencia. Back-to-back podiums. Like last week, you really had to work very hard to get everything out of that KTM, but we can see from the smile on your face, it's been another very good Sunday.
Yeah, we definitely we did not expect that. Even with Nakagami in front, that he was a little bit faster. Mid-race to finish, we would finish in 4th position, which it was already fantastic. We were hoping for a top 5 result this weekend, and yeah, finally we jump again on the podium in that 5th podium of the season with 2 pole positions. It's just unbelievable how all the effort is paying off these last races of the season, and really proud of this project, of these people, and of our job for sure.
Now, it nearly ended in tears, unfortunately. How close was it between yourself and Taka in that final corner? It looked super scary.
Yeah, it was one of the best places. It was one of the places I was catching more Jack and Morbidelli at the beginning of the race. It was the place I was braking later, and he overtook me, and for inside I said, okay, let's do it. But I keep some space because I was braking later. And finally, he was trying to close the line a little bit faster, and he crashed. And yeah, I have to say, I was very lucky. For sure, he was trying to overtake me because he wanted to win the race. I think he had a chance. He was fast, and he could jump on the podium for sure. But that was very close. And finally, in that two laps, the lap Nakagami crashed, and the lap after I lose 1.5 seconds. I disconnect myself, and I was so shocked, but finally we could jump on the podium, so I'm super pleased.
Pol, today your podium and Brad Binder's 5th place. It shows what a fantastic year it's been for the Red Bull KTM factory team. You're now 3rd in the team championship, something that nobody would have expected at the start of 2020. That position and that result must make you super proud as well, because you put so much work into KTM over these last few years.
Yeah, I'm feeling huge proud to see this bike, to jump on the podium for the 5th time, but also to see my teammate Brad, that he's a super young, talented guy, also performing well on the bike. Also, the team in that position on the championship, the factory getting success after this hard and huge tireless work of that last 4 years, yeah, I'm happy for the people is around this project. They really deserve this.
You've had a fantastic season. It's not over yet. One more race to go in Portimao. I just wonder if you could have a quick few words about the new world champion as well, Joan Mir, because he's a deserving world champion. He's been fantastic, and he looks like he'll be a tough man to beat in the future.
Yeah, nothing to say about Joan. He just did an amazing job this year. The whole Suzuki deserved this also top result, because their huge work in the past years, it's been massive. Also, Joan riding style, it fits perfect. He's a funny guy. He's a worker guy, and he for sure deserves it. He's a very good guy, so I'm happy for him and for the whole Suzuki Team Factory Racing.
Well, you've certainly deserved these 2 podiums over the last 7 days, Pol. Great to see you back on the podium. Many, many congratulations once again. Pol Espargaro, then, very happy. Steve, back to you guys in the studio.
Yeah, thanks very much for that, Matt. Thanks to Pol Espargaro as well. Back-to-back podiums for the number 44. Red Bull KTM have had a season I don't think they'll ever forget.
Don't these modern riders all speak so well? You know,
They do.
They can be proud of themselves. You know, they're amazing how he put that across. He was so fair. How deep he digs to get the results he does. You know, the podium now and last week. And I got to say, in hindsight, what a choice Alberto Puig has made by stealing him for Honda next year. When they did that, I thought that totally makes sense because he makes a difficult bike, you know, the KTM was difficult last year, get results, and that's what you need to do in Honda, you know. It's not the easiest bike to ride. He'll make it get results, totally understand. But since that choice, how he has proven, you know, because the KTM's come on, how good he is. What a great choice Honda made there.
They have, yes. It'll be a big loss to KTM, that's for sure. But of course, they have Brad Binder and Miguel Oliveira taking over the reins in the factory team for next year. And both of those guys finished in the top 6 today, so well done to them. We've got to just talk about Franco before we hear from him. It's his 3rd win now of 2020 for Franco Morbidelli, who moves up to 2nd overall in the World Championship. He's proving just how classy he is. He's also proving the bigger problem that Yamaha have in the fact that this 2019 Yamaha looks like a weapon, as we saw at the end of last year, and the 2020 bike has serious issues.
2 really good points. You know, coming into this race, I did a podcast thing and they put me on the spot with the Australia MotoGP and said, who's your money on for? And I just went, for the last 2 races, you know, looking at layout and how the riders handle pressure, for me it's Frankie Morbidelli and Mir, because they've both done it before. They've both won World Championships. Yep. They're absolute class, and I think their bikes are better suited to the tracks we're going. The Yamaha, I don't think you can take anything away from what Frankie's done here, because even if the bikes were, you know, all the same, he would have taken some beating, you know, like really good. But yes, Yamaha are in trouble with their 2020 bike. It's obviously true that it's 2 up and down, isn't it? Where the old one was more consistent.
It sounds like Franco Morbidelli might just be about ready to talk then. It was a brilliant, brilliant ride. It wasn't quite as easy for him as it was in Teruel, and I'm sure he loved that last lap battle with Jack Miller. Matt's live with him now. Over to you, mate.
Yeah, thanks very much, Steve. I am live with a very, very happy Franco Morbidelli after an epic last lap victory over Jack Miller today. Franco, pole position to your 3rd win of the season, but you really had to work so hard. We saw your body language and reaction after the race. You gave everything to win that battle. You must be so delighted right now.
Yes, I am. It was an unbelievable win. Yeah, I gave everything all race long, and finally I had to dig deeper to find something else at last lap, because Jack was there and it was able to catch up at the end, and it was able to fight at the end. So I had to find something extra, and luckily I was able to pull it out, and I did a wonderful fight against Jack. It's always nice to fight with him, win or lose. So I enjoyed the battle. Congratulations to him, because he was just as good as me. And I have a great feeling about this year. We did great, and I'm looking forward to party tonight and then go to Portimao.
I'm sure it will be a heck of a party, Samba style, Franco. I just want to dissect that last lap, because there was 3 crucial moments. Jack, we know, was going to use the Ducati horsepower down the straight, but it looked like with the tailwind and perhaps a bit of slipstream, he just ran in a little bit wide. So what was going through your mind at that particular point?
Yeah, just try to see what he was going to do, and just try to stick my bike underneath him. That's it. That's what I was. All I was thinking about last lap. Luckily, I had enough tire to fight, because that's important as well. So wonderful job from the team as well. So great.
Obviously, he made the move on you at turn 4, and I think probably then he thought if he could hold you off through 5 and 6 and use the horsepower down the back straight, he might have been able to win, but he wasn't expecting that fantastic overtake you made at turn 5. I mean, talk us through that one, because it was the crucial moment of the race.
Yeah, I don't even remember that. I need to look at it again. I need to look at it again, because I don't even remember the last lap. Sincerely. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm not surprised. It was full of so many surprises, but Franco, today was a mixed day really, because obviously you're no longer unfortunately able to win the World Championship, but you are now second in the standing. So I'm sure when you reflect on this season after Portimao, there's so many positives for you to take, so much for you to build on for 2021.
Yeah. We need to see how 2021 is gonna go. But this 2020 has been great. I enjoy the present, and then we will see how we can act next year. We will see if the other manufacturer will make another step. Let's enjoy the moment.
Franco, it was an absolute pleasure to watch you today. It was a fantastic battle right down to the last lap. Many, many congratulations. You thoroughly deserve that victory today.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Back to you guys in the studio.
Yeah, thanks very much, Matt. Thanks to Franco Morbidelli, then, the Valencian Grand Prix race winner. He sounds like he's lost his voice there after putting everything into that, and the screams in the helmet there on that last lap. He says he can't even remember what happened on the last lap. Does that ever happen to you? Or?
Yeah. I mean, you know, when you have an accident or something that's so intense that it doesn't, you've got to re-look at it, you know. Yeah, it's happened. The thing is, what I noticed about him, it's not a nice feeling, somebody hunting you down, you know, for that last lap battle. So Jack had a little bit more speed, and it, like I said, not a good feeling. But the thing he did was, I think, like his mentor, Valentino Rossi, brought to our sport was, doesn't matter whether you're slightly slower or not in the moment, just keep throwing everything at them until it rattled them, you know what I mean? And he did that really well. Never gave up.
He's another rider as well, Simon. When you look back over the season and you think of the bad luck, he could have been in a very different position right now. When you think of the engine in Jerez when he was on course for a podium, and then of course what happened in Austria.
That's a good point. Again, you could...
But mind you, you could say the same about so many people.
I was about to say that. Yeah. You could say the same about others. But you're right, yeah. You know, they're taken out, but so did Joan have. It's been one of those seasons, you know.
Before we wrap up and we go to talk about... we've got a press conference to host as well with the top 3 and Joan Mir. I think we're going to be hearing from the world champion in just a moment. Just a quick couple of words on a few other riders. Fabio Quartararo's dreams ultimately have come crashing down. And what's worse... he's actually dropped out of the top 3 of the World Championship as well. It's just gone from bad to worse of late.
This weekend, he was very rattled, wasn't he? Every time I looked in the garage, he's like just going... and listened to all his debriefs. They were lost rear grip-wise, all 3 2020 bikes, trying to find rear grip. All over the place, setting-wise, his swing arm pivots and ride height, all changes. And he did it fantastic to avoid that crash. He could have taken a couple of riders down and dived right and saved that. Really good skills. But, yeah, lost the front. Was that turn 6?
Yes.
The thing is, Fabio never... You know how well Fabio goes when he's comfortable, but he was never once comfortable here at Valencia, was he? You know? He could throw a lap in every now and again, but never comfy. I genuinely feel sorry that for him, that he couldn't find that, him and the team couldn't find that, but none of the 2020 Yamahas could.
No, and as we move on to Suzuki, a quick word on Alex Rins as well. His title chances have gone today, but I mean, he did give himself an awful lot of hard work from 14th on the grid in any case. I
think he did a really good job, and it was all lost yesterday. You know, for both the Suzukis, the qualifying was shocking. You know, like I said, 12 bikes in front of them, and this class, this level, everyone's so good, you haven't got a chance. You know, I say that because Valencia is so difficult to pass. If Aragon or somewhere with big, wider, you can do it, but not here. It was too hard for them. But both of them were really fast, just qualifying let them down.
A word on a couple of other riders as well. Miguel Oliveira started the race pretty well. He was up behind Pol and Taka Nakagami. We must talk about Taka as well. But he just
Miguel
started
lost
to
a
drop
little
it.
bit of time at the end, didn't he?
Yes,
He just dropped
and Brad
into the 32s.
got past him. Brad,
Yep.
solid result for him.
And Brad was stayed in the 31s for whatever reason that is, and it's so interesting to talk to them afterwards because maybe Miguel had a tyre pressure problem
Yep.
or whatever. You know what I'm saying. We won't know till we talk to them, but
And
all the KTMs looked strong.
They did, yeah. 3 KTMs inside the top 6 is great for them. And Taka Nakagami, before we hear from Joan Mir, unfortunately, another podium chance has gone begging.
Yeah, I was thinking about Taka. We spoke last night, and people were saying about on the podium, and I voted for Jack and Pol again, you know, ahead of Taka, even though on paper he looked, because he hasn't proven yet that he can do it, you know. He hasn't had a podium, and that's why I was scared to bet on him. The thing is, we humans learn from our mistakes. Taka's made a couple, you know. Yes, he'll get a kicking from some people, but he's learning and he'll come back stronger. He'll eventually do it, and once he does get on that podium, I think he'll be away, you know. It's just, sorry, Taka.
We're still waiting to hear from Joan Mir before we wrap up after the flag, so let's just focus on now the new world champion. He's got one more race to go in Portimao before we wrap things up. At what stage this season did you genuinely start believing that Mir could win this?
Oh, I can't remember exactly when it was. I mean,
for me, it was Austria.
Yeah, Austria.
That second race in particular.
Yeah, Austria, because he was stunning.
Before the red flag came out.
Yeah, he was stunning. He was running away with it, as everyone saw. And the thing is, he's so solid. Like Frankie, he just doesn't fall off. He finishes it. He's good under pressure. And, because everyone else had had some sort of bad luck, like him, solid. Yeah, unbelievable. Frankie and him, to me, this year have been the standout guys, you know. And they're, you know, I just want to throw something in here. All of the podium, as you know, today looking at interviewing them, you can see the new generation coming through.
Yeah.
And I so look forward to, I hope Aprilia maybe have another new generation guy, Moto2, for example. And then we're going to see 2 more Ducatis. The Sponsorama team having 2 fantastic new talents. This class is only getting stronger, you know, with the injection of new talent. Hey, new world champion on screen.
You've got to believe that Mir as well is only going to get stronger himself. And this is only his second season.
For sure. I mean, I think we've only just seen what he can do. It's just the start of it. And the thing is, I remember us talking about it mid last year. We saw, if you were watching close in the paddock, you saw he was this good. He just didn't get it across the line with a bit of bad luck or bad qualifying. Now he's doing it regularly.
The Triple Crown is still on for Suzuki as well. They're locked on points with Ducati in terms of the constructors. That one rumbles on to Portimao. But the team championship has been done. So your thoughts on that? Because Alex Rins in the latter stages of this season is also responsible for that. And your thoughts on the team in general, led by, of course, Shinichi Sahara, Ken Kawauchi and Davide Brivio.
I'm super happy for them. They've done an incredible job. Alex, you know, if he hadn't hurt himself at the beginning of this year, he was probably the man to beat because he was so fast right from the beginning.
And winter testing as well was good.
Yeah, winter testing. So, you know, what an amazing, strong team. Super sad Alex hurt himself at the beginning of the year because he would have been the man to beat for the championship. Suzuki, you know, I didn't put it very well last week. It was a bit blunt, but they've come from, you know, just on fact, they've come from not being in MotoGP and doing nothing I can really remember apart from the odd podium in World Superbike to this. And only, you know, it's single-digit years, you know, from one extreme to the other. It's an awesome job, you know. Now they're top of the world, the bike to beat and consistently, you know, at all tracks. Awesome job.
When we talk about riders, we're still waiting to hear from Joan Mir, and I have absolutely no idea how long we're going to wait yet. But I just want to get your thoughts on the season because it's just sprung to my mind that we keep on talking about other situations in the year how it could have been so different. There are not many riders actually in the World Championship who haven't had some bad luck at some point. I mean, the 3 guys that are about to sit down in the press conference, Franco Morbidelli, as we mentioned, Jerez, the big monster crash in Austria the following week. No one could have expected Franco to bounce back from that. That was 3 big races. Jack second. I mean, Jack's had some seriously bad luck so far this year. He's been in
a crash in front of him.
and also the bike in Le Mans, in prime contention. And then you look at Pol as well. Pol's been taken out a couple of times. I mean, all of these guys heading into next year are genuine title contenders. Again, we could have another barnstorm on our hands with another 9 or 10 winners.
That's what I was trying to say about the depth of field, you know, with another few Moto2 boys coming in. And what is already here, I think it's really going to show how important, Frankie just brought it out, how important all the manufacturers react, you know, how well they react. That's the important thing, because all of these guys can win, you know, that we've just been talking about. It matters so much how good the bike is, you know, consistently at all the tracks, and how well it saves tyres. It's like, yeah, it's this close between all of them.
It came to my mind as soon as the race finished about Joan Mir. I started thinking to myself, wow, this guy's not been in the paddock for very long. And then I counted the years, and I think we'll have to check the facts, but he's actually won the World Championship in less time in his entrance to Grand Prix racing than Marc Marquez did.
Well, I think he is the least experienced rider in MotoGP.
Exactly. 2016, he made his full debut. He becomes the first ever MotoGP World Champion to have won as a Red Bull, coming through the Red Bull rookies. The first ever Moto3 former World Champion to win MotoGP as well. It just shows that this Road to MotoGP program works, and how quickly things can transform for the younger generation. I mean, this is a great advert for the youngsters coming through.
You summed it up. The surprising thing for me is the man that just won the World Championship is the least experienced rider, done the least amount of races in his career of anyone in the class. You know, truly amazing. He showed his class straight away, but it was hard to see because the results weren't there, and it was around mid-season last year we all saw it. I know I'm repeating this, but. Once he's had some luck, they've found the bike setting, you know, got comfy, he's got enough experience that I think there's no stopping him now.
And also we have to say a word about Frankie Carcetti, because when Joan first came into the World Championship, they were both new to this.
I'm so happy with Frankie. For Frankie, I worked with him. He was Leon Camia's crew chief. I was the spotter for Leon, so we worked close together. And Frankie's super loyal to his rider. You know, he does everything possible for them. I caught up with him after the race, and he was like a zombie. It was like he couldn't react. It was just overload of emotion. You know, I'm super happy for Frankie. Great guy, and obviously talented man.
I've got no idea what's going on at the moment, so apologies for that. We'll hopefully hear from someone shortly. We'll go through a couple of other riders from today. Alex Marquez was always going to have a tough task today after that huge high side yesterday. Your thoughts on that?
I caught up with Alberto on the grid. I tried to get an interview with him, and he didn't want to do it, but I told him I got out of him what I wanted, which was, can Alex last the race, you know, with the injuries that, like, very sore rear end, it's kind of pelvis area and left wrist, and he said it's going to be very painful for him, but Alex said, much like Sam Lowe said, he believes he can finish the race, you know, which he did.
We have got chance to talk about Moto3 and Moto2, championships that are going to go on to Portugal. I'll try and recap and refresh our memories from those races here today. Albert Arenas extends his championship lead, but he's got a new championship rival to worry about, I think, after today, in Tony Arbolino. What an amazing victory for the Italian.
Yeah, and you saw how important it was to him as well, Tony winning. I've never seen him so excited, you know. He's normally a little bit, he was over the moon with that. And the team I saw on the grid really planning what he should do, where he should try and make the passes, because he was fair way back on the grid and he came through to win it. He must have done exactly what they said, and he can be proud of himself.
The emotions that he must be feeling now that the championship's back on, going into the last round, given that he had to sit at home for a round in Aragon as well.
Well, it was Hervé Poncherel that said to me at Aragon that how terrible that was for Tony, having to go, you know, he was, for the people that don't know, he was sitting on a plane and happened to be near someone in a further back row that was positive later, you know, and so they quarantined everybody near, and so Tony was stuck at home, couldn't go to Aragon first round. And as Hervé Poncherel said, imagine if he loses the championship by like 10 points. When he could have easily had 10 at Aragon, you know, with an average finish.
So in Moto3, we'll go to Portugal, and Alberto Arenas, Ayagura and Tony Arbolino are the three men that will fight for that World Championship. If we move on to Moto2, and Bastianini likewise extends his championship lead going into Portugal. No, I wouldn't say a lacklustre performance, did exactly what he needed to do today, but didn't quite have the speed.
It wasn't the Enea we're used to seeing. I think that's all, because he's an incredible rider. I'm a huge fan. I think he's going to rocket to the front of MotoGP. I'd even say that. I think he's the next big thing that's going to, I wouldn't say rocket, he's going to work his way steadily to the podium in MotoGP. You know, he's good. So it wasn't his normal performance, but we don't know why. I haven't asked the team yet.
There are still 4 riders, mathematically speaking, that could win the championship in Moto2 as a result of the results today for Bezzecchi and for Marini. A word about Sam Lowes as well, because, I mean, that crash yesterday was absolutely awful, and it looks to, I thought it had ruled him out, to be quite honest with you. You could see from the swelling on his hand going into this morning's warm-up. I wasn't sure if he was going to race. I'm sure you were thinking the same, but to finish 14th and get a couple of points is a heroic effort.
The thing is, you look at his lap times, and you were calling that out in the race. It wasn't far off,
no.
You know, and you're passing guys like Luti and then his teammate Augusto Fernandez, and that's the sort of level person you have to pass even to get a point. The class is unbelievable tough, and I felt really sorry for him having to do that, because it could have been just a fall, got up, brushed himself off, and had a good race today, and he's had to go through that today. Would have been really hard.
The problem for Sam now is, even if he wanted to go to Portimao and wrestle back the championship, and we know he's good there from his days in World Supersport.
He's got more experience than in all his competitors,
but he's
hasn't
only a couple of days away. I mean, that hand, is it enough time for his hand to get to a position, do you think, where he could be competitive?
I can't answer that, but it really comes down to obviously how bad the injury is, and if he can recover enough for whatever reason, I think he's got a very good chance, because, again, I repeat, he's got more experience. He's the only one that's been winning World Championship races at that track. You know, everyone else is having to go to learn it. And I'll throw in, Portimao is the most intimidating circuit I've ever had to learn. It was the first day there. Even at the end of the first day, I was just going, oh my, I wasn't enjoying it, because you can't see the corner. You have to hold the throttle on, but you can't see where you're going. It's so intimidating, and it's not till the second day you start to make friends with it. His competitors are going to have to go through that, where he won't, you know.
And your thoughts on Portimao for the MotoGP riders, because I've been there to watch World Superbike. You've ridden it, obviously. So as you just said, it's an intimidating circuit, but it's exciting for the neutral. I mean, just to give the fans an idea of what to expect with MotoGP bikes going around that place, because it's spectacular enough as it is just watching World Superbike round there.
Yeah, I had to think of that as well, what it's going to be like for MotoGP to turn up to Portimao, and which bike should go well there. It's got a long front straight, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, the whole way around, and even coming onto that front straight, is not flat. So the bikes with the more advantage power-wise, they won't get to use it, because the circuit is about who is comfortable enough to open the throttle more than who has the most power, you know. So I think my gut feeling is it's going to come down to the sweet handling, friendly bikes again, more so than the most powerful ones.
That's
so
interesting.
Inlines more than V4s.
That was going to be my next question, Simon, in terms of putting you on the spot for next week. If I was to say to you right now which manufacturer would come out on top, but I presume you're saying Suzuki stand a very good chance again.
Well, a week ago I said, before coming into here on that podcast, I said Suzuki's and Yamahas. I'm going to stick with that. There could be the Tucker and a brave like Brad Binder, Pol Espargaro, you know, prove me wrong. But I'll put it this way. If I was going to ride at Portimao, I'd want to ride something sweet handling, easier to ride than monster powerful, you know.
Thanks very much, Simon. It's time now to hear from the world champion then. Joan Mir has done it here today in Valencia. We can cross over live. He's standing by with Matt.
Yeah, thanks very much, Steve. It gives me great pleasure to stand in front of this young man and say, Joan Mir and Suzuki, 2020 MotoGP world champions. How does that feel?
It feels amazing. I still can't believe it, honestly, because I need probably a couple of hours to understand a bit the situation, because now I'm a bit like in shock. All the year with a lot of pressure here and at home to don't take the coronavirus is unbelievable to how we manage the situation. And finally we get that title, no? We get this title my second year with Suzuki. This is unbelievable. I cannot express by words what this means for me, because it's impossible. But what can I say is that I want to thank to all the people that make it possible. My family, first of all, Suzuki, second, because they give me the opportunity to be now here in MotoGP and world champion. And I'm so happy to be that guy who brings Suzuki again back on top 20 years later.
Yeah, just the sixth rider, Joan, in Premier Class history to win the World Championship for Suzuki. What was it like on that last lap when it was the realisation that you were so close, your family were here, it was so emotional? I mean, it was such a special moment.
Yeah, such a special moment. Is something that I cannot express, because, you know, when I saw the board with world champion, I said, this is not happening to me, and I started to cry. Then when I saw the people, I was crying also, and then doing the lap, I started to realize what was happening. Also, what was a shame is to don't have the people here with in the grandstands, because this is always an extra motivation and an extra pleasure to celebrate with them. But anyway, if I made a little bit better his year in such a difficult year, for me this is the best title.
What was the key, do you think, to winning this year's World Championship? It's been such a difficult season. Of course, it was a difficult start for you. You made the mistake in the first race in Jerez, and then you got taken out in the third round by Brunel. I mean, you were nearly 50 points behind Fabio Quartararo after the first three races. But what do you think was the key? It looked like you stayed calm throughout, and then we know you've had great speed and great consistency.
Was really difficult, because the thing that is we don't mention a lot, but was difficult for everybody to understand, is that the pressure normally you have it here on track. At home you disconnect, but at home I was not able to disconnect, because I had also the pressure of the coronavirus, and this made a lot more difficult the situation, no? Also to be really constant in every race, always on the podium. I don't want to talk about the race, because for me this was the race that I struggled more in all the year, and that I risked more. So really difficult, but we have the title, so I don't care about the race.
We can see here as well Davide Brivio, the team manager, Ken Kawauchi, the man who's been so influential behind the scenes with the GSX-RR. What would you like to say about the job that Suzuki have done? It's only your second year in MotoGP, but you are the world champion, and it looks like in the future the combination of you and Suzuki are going to be very difficult to beat. Yeah,
honestly, when I see now Davide after the title, I remember one conversation that we had in Jerez, a lot of in 2018, that we start to talk about this project. And he was trying to convince me he didn't need it, because I was convinced before. I wanted this project with Suzuki to bring Suzuki on the top, because you have this extra. Is even more difficult with Suzuki to make it, you know. And now one title with this brand make you even better, no? They deserve it, because they made an awesome job, not this year, all the previous year when I was there last year and when I was not. So thank you and congratulations to them, to all the people that is working in Japan, in Hamamatsu, making this bike even faster and even better. And that's it. Thank you.
And what are you going to do to celebrate tonight?
honestly, I want to celebrate, I want to go to the disco, I want everything, but we have to be responsible. It's people that is dying for this reason. For me, the best celebration is to be with my family here and with my team, and taking always measures, because this is serious, the coronavirus, and of course I need to celebrate a little bit, but not so much.
Joan, you join a very exclusive list of Suzuki World Champions in MotoGP. Barry Sheene, Marco Lucanelli, Franco Uncini, Kevin Schwantz, Kenny Roberts Jr. and now Joan Mir. I just want to say, Joan, you're a great rider, a great ambassador for MotoGP, and it gives me immense pleasure to speak on behalf, I'm sure, of millions of fans all around the world, to pass on huge congratulations, because you're a deserving MotoGP World Champion in 2020. Look forward to seeing you defend the title next year. Huge congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Steve, back to you guys.
Thanks very much, Matt. Thank you to Joan Mir.